hosts make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackey and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackey and Judd.
One show being wrong is not enough, Declan Goff, so we need two shows because we've got Purple Daily Write That Down and we've got Classic Write That Down, and it is time, much like Classic Coke, it is time for Classic Write That Down as we again take some swings that will probably be infield fly roll pop-ups.
Yes, that's what we do here on Write That Down. 3 predictions each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting average and home runs on this edition of Write That Down. And listeners, if you'd like to participate, like our guy Nick is about to, shoot us a message to the Score North app, and I can get you on. I believe we're booked through the end of October as of now. There might be an open spot. Regardless, hit me up if you want to be on one of the episodes of Write That Down. Would love to hear from you. So yeah, write that down. We'll see how things have tracked. We'll see how wrong we've been. We're going to start with Judd here. Judd, you said Gophers UNC will go under the 50 points, and indeed
it did.
It did.
Apparently. Thank you to the Gophers for not scoring more.
I was going to say, I watched.
There were opportunities for it to go over. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there were definite opportunities. Look at that.
Mackey said Micah Parsons will get at least 6 pressures, and Zach Wilson will turn over the ball at least twice. So that's another ding for old
Good week so far. Good week so far till now.
Yeah. Mike, our guy Posh, joined us and said the Eagles will cover the 7-point spread against the Vikings. He also said Red Bull win every GP in the F1 season, and Red Bull finally lost a GP event in F1 this week. And that is also a wrong, incorrect prediction. Another bad week for me. This actually almost happened.
Yeah,
the Gophers almost actually covered this spread. They had opportunity to cover this spread. Said they covered the 7.5, so they just had to be inside 7. And regardless, though, it's still wrong.
But you can justify it all you want.
Yeah, I can.
You go right ahead and try and justify it.
So the Twins will have clinched or have the opportunity to clinch the division by the end of play today. They can't. At match number 3, they can potentially clinch tomorrow if all things go right.
Yep.
But this is also wrong. So rough week for Dex tweets as I have fallen off a little bit here. The listeners are coming up a little bit. Judd still leads, 321 average, 6 home runs. Dex tweets 273 with 5 home runs. Listeners at 267 with 3 home runs. Mackey has dug himself out of a pretty bad start. He was below the Mendoza line to start the year, and now he's at 241 with 5 home runs. So he's actually coming up a little bit here. Lifetime, I still lead lifetime career stats, 366 career average, 30 bombs. Judd with a 328 average. He leads all time in hits with 284. Mackey with a 265 career average and 36 bombs. And then listeners lead all time in home runs, 45 home runs by a wide margin, and a career average of 262. So that is your accountability session. Full disclosure, I had to change 2 of my 3 predictions because they all involved Royce Lews and Carlos Correa before yesterday took place. And I had to make some different predictions on the fly here. So
yeah, I actually, before the game started last night in Cincinnati, had a Royce Lews prediction about playing shortstop in a game before the season ends that now is going to have to be changed.
Ugh. So yeah, that's our accountability session. No Minnesota random athlete of the week this week, just because Phil is out. Now Phil does have his 3 predictions via satellite, and we'll hear from him momentarily, but no Minnesota random athlete of the week. But regardless, we'll still have Write That Down predictions, and we'll get our guy Nick in here to join the show. Nick is making his 2nd appearance on Write That Down.
Thank you.
Nick, welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, guys.
Good to see you. 2nd time, yeah, that's nice. That's so what has your philosophy changed from your first appearance to now, Nick? Are you going to bunt more? Are you going to swing for the fences more? What's the philosophical shift that we might see from Nick in appearance 2?
Well, it's going to be similar. Last year, I made a prediction It was when the Twins had a pretty commanding lead that they would end up losing the division, and that came true. And then the Vikings would lose, not make the playoffs or losing the playoffs. So I'm gonna try to hit one long ball today, but I like the average that we're at. The average is better than most of the Twins hitters, so let's keep that up here.
No kidding. Here's how this works, Nick. You know it. So we're gonna start with you. We're then gonna go to Judd, then to me, and then via Phil via satellite to round out the predictions. So Nick, you are in the batter's box here, sir. Let's see your first swing.
All right, guys. All baseball here.
Okay.
October's coming. It's one of my favorite times of the year, playoff baseball. I'm really looking forward to that. Not only the Twins, but watching all the games. It's just one of my favorite times. All right, so I'm not feeling it for this year for the Twins. I don't think so. This is the year. So prediction number 1, write this down. The Twins will be swept in the first round of the playoffs, extending the losing streak to 20 games.
Oh God. Now, Nick, did this change because of yesterday? Did you have another prediction in your bag before the Royce Lewis and even Carlos Correa news came down?
No. Although if it does, if it were to end this year, I think Royce Lewis would be a big part of it. I think he's someone that can hit in the playoffs, hit in the clutch. But no, I had this all along. I don't trust our bullpen. I think our bullpen is just it's not good in the playoffs. So we've seen time and time again, you have to have elite bullpens. I think Pagan is going to come back to earth and give up, a couple bombs. I think Duran hasn't pitched that well either. I think Duran is going to blow a save, maybe give up a couple of runs. I don't trust them. I just don't.
Sportsdad's very proud right now. Like this is how you should see sports in this town. I'm very, very proud. And you know what? 20. If you're going to go to 18, you might as well go to 20. Make the record more unbeatable. Exactly right. Okay. My write that down was going to be that Royce Lewis would play in a game at shortstop before the end of the regular season. But now that's out the window. So here's my write that down on the fly audible. Carlos Correa and Royce Lewis will not play again in the regular season. So both of them. Correa went on the IL, so that won't be surprising. But, we're hearing it might be a mild hamstring strain and now an MRI. Royce Lewis ain't playing again. He'll be lucky to be back, I think, for the first playoff game. So Royce Lewis, Carlos Correa will not play another game in the regular season, Declan Goff.
All right. I understand. That's too bad.
Write this down.
First prediction from me. Yesterday, we had some rehabbing players, and honestly, heard that again. I've heard that radar gun's hot in St. Paul. I've heard at CHS that radar gun runs hot. I know Paddock was pumping like 98. Brock Stewart was like between 96, 97. They're all pumping gas. I've heard from multiple people that radar gun runs a little hot. Just saying. It's exciting, but just keep that in mind. All right? Want to beat that on the record. But write this down. Between Chris Paddock, Jorge Alcala, and Brock Stewart, at least one of them will be on the Twins playoff roster. So at least one of those 3 rehabbing players. I think Brock Stewart's the most likely, then probably followed by Paddock and then Alcala. Alcala has been injured for, I swear to God, 3 straight years. So I think he has the worst chance, but I think one of those 3 guys will be on the playoff roster. Write it down.
Write it down.
Just to be clear, are you talking first round? Because, after those 2 or 3 games, if they win, it can be reset. So
whatever the first playoff round.
So the first round playoff roster. I just want to make sure because they can then reset that roster and make moves for a longer division series. So just want to make sure we know we're on the same page here. No fights, no lawyers, no nothing.
Let's go to Macadac for his first prediction via satellite in Cincinnati.
All right, my first write that down prediction here on the OG version of Write That Down. I have faith in the Twins medical staff. Why wouldn't you? Okay? Just a wonderful crew of human beings, okay? Well-credentialed, always getting players back on the field in a timely manner historically. So, because I have faith in the Twins medical staff, write this down. Both Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa will be I'll say it this way. Both Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa will play in game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. All right, they will play. Both of them will play in game 1, first round of the playoffs.
All right. I'm not quite sure he knows that they left Royce in last night after he got hurt initially, but we won't tell him.
I think he does, because he would have not included Royce Lewis if he didn't see that happen. So I'm guessing he's aware of it. But
well, he's aware he's hurt, but I'm saying that when he bounced into the double play, your faith in the medical staff probably should have taken a huge hit there. But hey, more power to him. I hope he's right.
Nick, we'll go back to you for your second prediction.
All right, back to the Twins here. This is going to be somewhat of a follow-up on the first prediction. Write this down. In game 1 and or game 2 of the first round playoff series, a Twins starter will exit the game with a lead, and that lead will be given up by the bullpen.
Just doom and gloom. It's like the Spider-Man meme. It's like I'm on the show with myself. I mean, we've seen it before.
God. Yeah.
Declan's going to start to cry, Nick. So I hope your third
Not
prediction
cry.
is more positive.
I'll break something before I cry. I don't get emotional. I don't get
breaking something is an emotion of
right, but I don't
anger.
get get tears.
Okay.
I get anger. I'm angry. It's not tears for me. It's more anger. Something's gonna get broken.
If these guys have a starter who's been strong through like 5 and they pull that Barrios Maeda Astro stunt, somebody got to do something. Like, that's just fireball at that point. I still think that they would have won one of those 2 games if they hadn't screwed up the pitching. So, yeah, Nick, what Nick suggested could cause a lot of angst. And Sonny Gray will pack his bags. If it's Gray, he will have his bags packed. You will not see him again. He'll just peace out and be like, I'm going to go sign elsewhere. See you later. Bye. All right. Might write that down. Sticking with a Gopher football theme because I was successful with it last week. The Gophers will beat Northwestern by 14 or more points on Saturday. Just for a point of reference, the spread is 13. Gophers by 13 at Northwestern. But I say the Gophers will win by 14 or more points. The Gophers, I'm not saying they're great, but Northwestern's it's just a debacle now. They got blown out by Duke last week. They're 1-2. I don't think they're going to win a Big Ten game. So the Gophers will win, Declan, by 14 or more points in Evanston with our friend Ross Brendel there. God knows why.
Amen. I have no idea why.
Ross, you got to seek professional help here, man. Quit going to Gopher games in Evanston.
Write this down. So I was going to make this between now and next week's write that down, but the Twins actually don't play on Thursday, tomorrow, or Monday. So they actually don't play a ton between now and next week's. There's 2 off days between now and next week's. Write that down. They were recording this at 11:45 Wednesday, and they're actually in Cincinnati right now finishing out their series with the Reds before they return home to play the Angels and Oakland A's for their regular season homestand finale before the postseason starts. Write this down. Royce Lewis will start 3 or more games between now and the end of the season. They're going to try to get him right. They're going to rest the hamstring. I don't see him playing probably on Friday either, but he will start at least 3 more games between now and October 1st of the end of the regular season. Write it down.
Nick, do you want to deliver the bad news, or should I? That I have no faith that's going to happen. I don't even know it'd be smart at this point. I think to get him right would be not to play him. But all right, what's Phil got?
All right, second prediction from old Mackey.
All right, prediction number 2 here. So I think we've gone over this stat, I don't know, a bajillion times since the Vikings started 0-2, but only 9% of 0-2 teams since 1970 wind up coming back and making the playoffs. I will say this. There's some interesting, tantalizing 0-2 teams, 2 of them playing each other this weekend, Vikings, Chargers, the Chargers. You got the Bengals 0-2, so write this down. An 0-2 team will make the playoffs in the NFL this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah, I think that'll happen. I mean, I think Seifert tweeted out the thing from the NFL too. Like it's happened every year or something. Like at least one team makes the playoffs that's 0-2, so it's not completely impossible.
Well, and
Yeah,
we've
it's
gone
happening.
and we've gone to 7 playoff teams now too instead of 6. I think with the Vikings. So I think the only time a Vikings 0-2 team made the playoffs was 2008, back in the days of 6 teams. So your odds do increase a bit there.
All right, we'll go
Should we
back
get
to
Nick's
Nick
final one?
for your third and final prediction, sir.
All right, I'm gonna go away from the Twins and I'm make a prediction about the AL in the playoffs here. I'd love to when the matchups are set. I'd love to get all your guys' thoughts and predictions on all the matchups and everything, because I have my ALCS in pen right here, guys.
All right.
I think this is a home run based on the specificity and all the things that would have to happen, but you can let me know. Here's my matchup. I got the Rays and the Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question. Home run.
Yep.
If you're calling your shot right now, that's a home run.
Totally.
You look at this Rays team. They got the best, I think, 1-2-3 punch. You had Glasnow, Savali, Eflin.
Oh yeah.
They got the best bullpen in baseball. If they can get enough hitting, which I think they will, I think they're better than the Orioles. I think the Orioles are going to fade in the playoffs. They've been a great story, but those young players, once you get to the playoffs, you got to get there a few times, really, at least once before you kind of make it. And that Rays team is made to win. I really like them. The Astros, on paper, I think they might have the best team, best hitters for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But yeah, that Rays pen has been just absolutely outstanding. I think when they left here last week, I think the bullpen had something like 31 consecutive scoreless innings at that point. And I think they were struggling like back in May. So yes, that Rays team, the Rays are one of the most, as we've talked about before, it's one of the most incredible stories in sports. I don't know how they do it. They play in a dump. They don't have a lot of financial wherewithal to work with. And every year it seems like, in the last, 5-10 years, they've been competitive. So that's a good call.
we got a new stadium coming though.
Yeah.
Sounds like
30,000
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the wrong side though. They should have built it in Tampa. You want it in Tampa, but that's fine. Good.
Why? I have a question for you, Judd. Why Why are they going from a dome to a dome? Why wouldn't they have retractable? Like, doesn't Houston has retractable? Doesn't Texas have retractable?
I'm sure it's cost. It's cost. It costs more to build a retractable, because yes, ideally it's retractable, but I think what they're going to do is it's not cheap. I mean, it's still like $1.8 billion or something, but it's 30,000 seats. I think it's a compromise. I think instead of the bells and whistles type of stadium, it's a compromise. But you know what? At least it now opens up the discussion for expansion, because I think we're now done with teams that are going to threaten to move beyond the Brewers, who should be going nowhere. So that's good.
I want a Nashville team. That's what I think that would be fantastic.
You'll see it.
I love
You'll
Nashville.
see it eventually.
I think so too.
It's an amazing city.
Nick, any other shout outs you want to give with your second time here on your Write That Down predictions before we say goodbye, sir?
Yeah, just first and foremost to you guys for putting amazing content out there. Too bad we don't get Phil live reactions here, but you guys are fantastic. You guys put in a lot of work and it gets me through my day for sure. Thank my wife for we got married in June, so she married me even after seeing me go crazy through all these sporting events and throw stuff and break stuff, whatever. So that's all I got, but keep it going, guys, and so see what happens in October.
Awesome, Nick. Thank you.
Man, I hope Nick's wrong. Love Nick. Glad he came back on, but just the pent up Twins frustration. Oh,
20 would be impressive.
20 would be
might never be beaten in any sport.
I know.
All right, my final Write That Down in the classic Write That Down is this. I think I talked about this. It might have been last week with Mackey on as well. But anyway, write this down. Next season, Amazon, their Thursday night NFL package will have an entirely new booth. So this is the final season for Al Michaels. God bless him, a legend. But I think this is going to be his last year doing play-by-play. And Kirk Herbstreit's a college guy, and as you talked about, Declan, he's so busy with other jobs. And the NFL, that package, like a primetime package, deserves a dedicated announcer to that league. Like, you don't need to go get Kirk Herbstreit. Find somebody, even develop him or her who's good at it. And so Amazon will have a new NFL booth. So not the studio at all. The booth will be different next season.
Okay. I like it. One more prediction from me here. By the way, a Royce Lews update. This from Dan Hayes, The Athletic, that we didn't get to speak with him, but Royce Lews was riding the indoor bike in the Twins clubhouse this morning. Lewis told the training staff he didn't experience a hamstring issue before the 8th inning at bat, and he had been dealing with a heel issue for several weeks.
Oh, that was a heel problem. Okay.
And
I'm still surprised they didn't take him out.
And if he's on a bike, I don't think it's a hamstring then. His hamstring wouldn't be flaring up too hard if you're on a bicycle. So
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's good.
I'm not an expert. MRI, let's see it. Let's see it. Release it. We all want to see it.
One more prediction from me here on Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I wish Phil was maybe on here to hear this prediction because I think he would very much disagree with it. But CM Punk, who has been let go from AEW, he's doing like not UFC broadcasting, but some type of fighting broadcast. In his meantime, he has a no compete, I think, for like 60 days from his time of firing. Sure. But Survivor Series, which is the next marquee pay-per-view event for WWE, they have something else, I think, between now and Survivor Series. But Survivor Series is typically in November, around Thanksgiving time-ish or so, and it's in Chicago. And CM Punk is Chicago royalty. So write this down. CM Punk returns to WWE at Survivor Series. Write it down.
Wow.
Write this down.
So explain this. Was The Rock's return a surprise with McAfee? So that was not known.
Nope. That was totally organic. I mean, they teased something about it on the game day set the morning of, or the ESPN set the morning of, but
the McAfee show, yep.
That was awesome.
That stuff. So The Rock's return was surprising. Now, has Cena been in and out? Because I saw he and The Rock did something together.
Yeah, Cena's on a run right now with SmackDown for like another month or so. It's his most extended run in WWE in like 5 or 6 years, because he's usually now just doing movie star and LA Hollywood stuff. But he's with the company, I think, through the month of October right now. So,
okay.
Yes.
And they're not wrestling. They're just doing like promos and stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think Cena's been scheduled to wrestle anyone just yet. But yeah, he's mostly just doing promos and hyping people up, getting people over, etc.
Cool. Good for them.
All right, we got Macadac for one more prediction here.
All right, and prediction number 3 here. So I saw a note yesterday that the Timberwolves, they unveiled their sort of retro jerseys a few weeks ago, and they're going to have a 35th anniversary celebration for one of the games. Be nice if you could get KG's card key to reactivate again at some point. He keeps sort of pimping Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns on social. So with all the sort of the retro nature of the throwbacks and the 35th anniversary, I'm going to make a prediction here. Write this down. At some point this season, the Timberwolves will use their original logo on the court for a game. So like the center court logo will be the original wolf from the first 5 or whatever it was, first 8 years, that old school sort of round wolf. That will be, at some point this season, used at center court during a game. Write it down.
Okay. I could certainly see that. I thought he was going to predict KG's return. I was going to be like, I don't think with Glenn there that's going to take place, but 35 years. 35. That's I'm torn there. Like, should it be a celebration or like a seance, a cleanse, a purge? 35 years and one actual playoff run. I'm not sure what you should do there. I'm not sure it's a celebration though. Bring back Tony Campbell. Bring back what was his name? Scott Roth, Felton Spencer. Yeah,
Desmond.
Awesome stuff.
Who else? Who else was on those teams?
Pooh Richardson.
He's
come back. They brought. You know what they have in the last. Is this the last 3 or 4 years? And I think they did it last year as well. They have brought alumni back a lot more.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, there's just not a lot to embrace when you were terrible. You sort of spiked back up and got good, not great, made one playoff run, and then went immediately to being terrible until the last few years in which you've been competitive. But I would say now you're sort of disappointing unless Ant can get you past the first round.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
wait. I got to show you something.
Oh God.
I got something for you.
Okay.
Hold on. I got to make sure I can do this without bringing down my bobbleheads. But I've got what Mackey is talking about, so I might as well show you. That's the logo. So this is from an original. This is a media notebook holder that I got back in the day, and is displayed in my office now. So that's the logo that Mackey is talking about, and you're exactly right. Not a bad one.
No.
I sort of like it.
No,
Looks good on the court.
I like it.
Let's see what notes are in here. Oh, look at this.
1989
notes. Oh, this is John Gutekunst's notes. Oh my God, am I old? Okay.
Write that down. Predictions. That'll do it for us. Stay tuned. We actually will have a special Judd's Hockey Show episode recorded later this afternoon. So be on the lookout for that. Hit the subscribe button for Daily Minnesota Sports Entertainment. We'll be back tomorrow with a scoop session.